Hi, this is Mario Andretti, and you're tuned into Cam Graydon and the team as Stickers and Scuffs podcast. They're true Canadian racing fans.
This episode of the Stickers and Scuffs podcast has been brought to you by Remax Jack. Jack provides a friendly, customer-driven service in search for homes and provides excellent details on the market, values, and trends in buying and selling. Jack has been able to work with Cam on his search and always makes himself available when he has a question. Remax Jack will help you if you're looking to buy or sell a home within the GTA. He's who Cam K trusts to find his next home, and he should be yours too. Remember, call Remax Jack and start to pack. For more information, go to remaxjack.ca. Bonjour tout le monde. Hello everybody et bienvenue dans le nouvel épisode de Stickers and Scuffs. Aujourd'hui, on parle avec le pilote de la Mustang numéro 1 pour Jacobs Racing à la série NASCAR Pinty. Salut Jean-Philippe Bergeron. Comment ça va?
Bonjour, ça va bien, merci. L'intro en français, c'est spot on.
Merci.
There we go.
We're going to phase into English if that's all right. But as we were saying prior to the episode, much respect for your language and for all the French contingent who contribute so much to our series.
Yeah, I feel like we're a lot of French people in the Pinty series. I think we're maybe more than half now. It used to be like more Ontario based, but as of now, Quebec race team are kind of taking over a lot. I feel that's great. So we're hearing a lot more French in the paddocks now.
It's true. I mean, it used to be like you said. It started from Ontario. It was an Ontario based series, mostly guys from Ontario. And you know, I guess you could say that maybe the guy who kind of broke down the barriers, obviously Andre Courcelle was in the CASCAR Super Series for many years. Donald Teague was in it for many years. Benoit Teague. But the guy who kind of came in and was really full time was Andrew Ranger. And now you're sharing the series with Andrew. How's that got to be for you coming into this series and racing against a 3-time champion like Andrew Ranger, who's I feel like he's going to be very, very tough to beat this year because last year didn't go as well as maybe he was hoping.
Yeah, well, Andrew's also a personal friend of mine. We do stuff off the racetrack together as well. So I was looking forward to actually get to finally race against him. I mean, he's a driver I've been looking up since I started into racing. Of course, I didn't start it that long ago, but Andrew has always been a role model, just the way he drives, the way he's focused. I mean, he's a guy that barely never makes mistakes. I mean, you follow him and he looks like he's driving a minivan like on the boulevard, but he's actually going over like 150 miles an hour and doesn't make any mistakes. He's so smooth and everything. So great guy as well. So I feel like to learn with these guys and try to make our way like in the path that they actually shape. It's hard, but I feel like they're a really good example.
Since we're talking about Andrew Ranger, who all has influenced your career? Who's been who's weighed in on making JP Bergeron who he is?
Oh man, it started far away. It's actually back when I was in elementary school, back in like 5th or 6th grade. I had a friend. I mean, I'm actually a triplet, by the way. I have two sisters of the same age.
Oh wow!
So
cool.
back then we used to have a common friend group, and one of my sister's friend was a daughter. Well, she still is a daughter, but of a guy that's actually now one of my main sponsors, CTSR and GC Perot Appliances in Quebec. He was a big time NASCAR fan. He kind of got friends with my dad over the years, and like when I was like I was in high school, like mid high school. He bring me out go karting, like the fast one, like the Rotax Max karts, not the renting stuff. I went out there. Honestly, it was kind of a shit show. Sorry for my words, but that's exactly what it was. But we went back there, did a bit of karting. Then I kind of stayed there, did some karting on Friday nights, but never actually race karting. Then him and my dad bought the race cars that were called Cup Lights, which you probably saw on my Facebook a bit, which I run here at Circuit iCar on Wednesday night. They bought their car. I was not in the plan at all. They bought their cars. They started running there a bit. I was still a teenager and not really given much about racing. And I had my dad will also sponsor back then Olivier Bedard, who does road racing and also did a Pinty start a few years ago. So I was kind of getting involved in the racing world, but as long as you don't really try it, you don't really know if you're actually good at it or not. And then I had the opportunity one night to actually replace my dad in his car and ended up super well. I think I ended up like top 3 or so in that race. And then I replaced the year after another time and actually won a race. And then I bought a full-time car. And then the year after, which was like 2018 actually, I started running ACT late model. An oval for a full-time season, won Rookie of the Year there. Then 2019 was a bit rough because we started our own race team with our own car and everything. So had top 10s and a few top 5, but not any more than that. And then the year after was when COVID hit. So I was like in my 3rd full-time season. We actually did some testing in the winter with the Rion brothers in a Camping World truck in Myrtle Beach. I was expected to maybe run for them at Richmond the race after, but then COVID hit and everything kind of went sideways. But honestly, it was still a good experience. Got to meet some people, but we decided to focus on our race season, rebuild our car from scratch. We ended up on the podium. I think almost every race of the season with like a 5-race season. We're still pretty short, but we won one race, and which was my first win in late model. So it's kind of gotten really good. Then moving on to the year after, which was 2021, we decided to go down to Speed Weeks. We rented a car from the Skinner boys in Florida. Ended up pretty well, top 5 in the standings. Nothing too crazy. I didn't contend for the win for the whole week, but I was still, running up front. So feeling good. Then did another year of late model, got another win, a lot of podiums. And then we focused on maybe getting in more big stuff, and we actually got an ARCA ride for 3 stops with DGR. I did Salem Speedway, Kansas, and Phoenix Raceway for the last race of the season. So and I did pretty good, honestly. Ended up in the top 5. Really good equipment with DGR. So I mean, I had to to run up front. That was going to be really not good for my image if I would have run in the back with these cars, because they were really well prepared, and the whole team gets there like it's a cup race every race, and it's ARCA. So we were more than ready, but we were maybe trying to go down the ARCA path for the 2022 season. Obviously, sponsorship in the US was really, really hard. We almost got there, but a few sponsors backed out, and we were like, it was beginning to be a lot of invests from ourselves, from Prolon, which is my dad's company, and I actually work with him. So it was too much. And I mean, of course, racing is also a hobby, not just, I don't do this as a career myself, and we'll talk about that later on. But we decided that it was just not a smart move to go into ARCA or even trucks. We kind of moved in. You have a nice cat bag there, Cam.
I clearly
they love
of
the camera.
of all the things to happen. let's just do it for the wrestling right here.
Yeah, that's all right. But anyways, we just I can't unsee the cat now.
Yeah. It's normally the other one that's not
It's true.
It's
Yeah, I
normally
guess
he
he wants
on
his fame
camera.
this time.
This one's Chester. He's ready to have his moment. So
All right.
he
But,
wants to show
yeah.
ass to you, man. That's all it is.
Anyways, we did the ARCA stuff. And then we worked with. I mean, I was with Festi Drag that year as well. 2021
Yes.
was my first year with Martin Danville, which acts as my agent now since 2021. And actually does a lot of great things for us. Brings a lot of great sponsors such as Russo Metal or Shelby Canada. It's all people that he actually brings in with me that I didn't have to go and actually build relationship with these guys, because he kind of brings a network with me and all the contacts he has. So he sat down with me after Phoenix and was like, "Do you want to pursue this and maybe not make anything, or do you want to try to make more of a career in the Pinty series?" And at first, honestly, just the way that, and again, that's another subject as well, but just the way NASCAR actually portrays the Pinty series, it kind of looked like I was downgrading just because I was not racing in the US. And that's a big shame, and I don't feel that way at all, but it felt like this at the time.
Yep.
And I was kind yes, but then it was like, okay, but if we're not going ARCA, we're going Pinty's, we're gonna win the championship right off the bat. And I was like, ooh, no, Pinty's actually a lot more competitive than ARCA.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Truth.
right.
Yeah, and then we were for our Pinty series season, which pretty much all of you saw that didn't go as planned, but we still did our rookie year there.
It's crazy how fast it went, because you really haven't been racing for that long. When you really think about, a lot of drivers nowadays get in it, like we're hearing names starting at like 4 and 5 years old.
I heard 5 the other day. And I was like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And full-size cars.
Yeah,
like, man.
Yeah.
You see, like
I was still picking my nose at that age.
Oh, come on, you haven't stopped. Let's be honest.
Oh, okay.
We've never stopped. That's we're guys, right? But it's funny because we Brexton Bush is a perfect example. He's not even 9, and he's already winning races. And so getting to the kind of the start late with karting, you're going up against guys that have been doing it for so long. So again, same thing for the Pinty series. You are a lot younger than the rest of the field, but what is it like going up against guys that have been doing this for, you got DJ Kennington's been doing it friggin' forever, right? Alex Tagliani's been all over the place racing, and now you're in that conversation as well.
Yeah, honestly, it felt a bit intimidating at first. I mean, I won't lie. I was like, I'm racing against these guys that I never thought I would race. I mean, back then when we were actually going to racetrack with Olivier Bedard and Formula and a bit of micro stuff, nice micro back then, I was just looking at the track like, oh, that's a big show. And looking at the show at Three Rivers, I was like, oh, I'm sitting in the stand, but never thought I would actually race there. Yeah. And, when I sat on the grid at Sunset for the first time, I was like, oh, this is it now. I'm with all of these big names. But honestly, once we get on the racetrack, I feel like I got my head wrapped around this pretty decent. And I don't really feel like I'm competing against these guys like against names. I'm just competing against cars. Because if you stop like to think about every name you're competing with, you always feel like you're not as good just because of their name, because of their legacy. So like even in the ARCA stuff, I mean, I was racing against Ty Gibbs and I knew what he did before it. I was like, dude, I'm racing against him. No way I'm good. You kind of got to set this aside and really focus on your race. So, I mean, I kind of really worked on myself before the first race to actually make sure that it didn't bother me. And I don't feel it did bother me. Maybe I had a few events like in the races, just thinking about it really quick. But I don't think it really changed much in the season at all. If it would have been all no names or big names, they're just good.
Yeah. Yeah, and the fact is, I think that's what's really cool is that we can say after your rookie season, you didn't get involved in really any really big issues with anybody, and that's one of the big things that creates a respect level with your fellow competitors, is that you're not going out there and causing a caution every race. You're not going in there and spinning people out and racing them the wrong way. I mean, I don't we had a lot of contact last year. We have a lot of contact all the time in the Pinty series, but I don't remember, except for maybe Chaudier, where you kind of
Chaudier was a big one.
That was I can't say that that was that's got to be a different experience for you.
Yeah, I mean, I raced at Chaudier quite a lot. That was one race that I had circled in my calendar. I had Mario Goslin as a crew chief this weekend as well at Chaudier. We were really, putting everything to actually go and try to get a win in the second oval of the season. Because I mean, Sunset went okay, but was still my first race at this track. And I'll be honest, after Sunset, we finished like 7th. And I was like really disappointed. I was like, that's gonna be my worst finish of the season. Oh boy, that was one of the best. But I mean, Chaudier, we got unlucky. We had a shock go wrong, and we just found it after qualifying and started in the back, and then got involved with TJ there with the lap car, and it's racing incidents happen, and just trying to unlap myself and completely destroyed his car and mine. Luckily, no one was hurt, but that was kind of a misunderstanding that I had with him on the racetrack and spotter to spotter as well. So stuff like that happened in racing. I never actually saw this at Valley. I mean, I've been there for a few races. I mean, I've raced there for like 15 late model races prior to being a Pinty's car. I never saw anything like this. I've never been involved in anything like this there as well. So it was special. It was not really scary because I was the guy on top, not the guy underneath. I was just on the top in the car, and I was like, please don't tip over. And then I could hear, and I could just hear my spotter, Brendan Schauler, like, I won't say what he was saying on the radio, but he was screaming to us like, don't flip.
Oh my God.
And I still remember Dave Jacobs' face in the pits. Second oval race with him, and I come with a car like this. I was disappointed. But it happened. We put that behind ourselves, and I think we moved forward after Valley.
But you guys also were the first ones to unveil the Ford Mustang in NASCAR Pinty's competition, and we got that's one of the most beautiful cars in the field. That body is that nose piece is something else.
Yeah, the Mustang looks really, really good. It was actually something that we were really pushing hard before I actually got in the Pinty series, and we were with DGR for ARCA. As we were looking for the next season, they were going to introduce a Mustang body, but we were actually pushing on them to making sure we had it for Daytona. And they were making their work with NASCAR, and then when we got in the Pinty series, Dave Jacobs told us, yeah, maybe we could do the Mustang, and then he put the pressure on NASCAR himself to actually get the body. And we did have it. We just didn't put it on our first oval car because that was at first we weren't supposed to run that car, but it's the whole team story, and another race car was supposed to have. So we had Mustang body ready for the season, and we really wanted to be the first one because I remember when Chevy came out with the new Camaro body, everyone was like, "Oh, that looks gorgeous!" And we saw it on TV at the 500 the year before. And for us with the Mustang, it kind of went undercover, and we just rolled at Mosport with this, and everyone was like, "Oh, Mustang!"
Yeah,
and it
I remember
really
posting
sweet,
about that.
Yeah, exactly. It looked really sweet, and the fact that we're sponsored with Shelby Canada, it was a no-brainer for us to actually have a Mustang because of course Shelby don't make Fusion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, who wants a Shelby Fusion? You want a Shelby Mustang.
Exactly.
And you got a teammate this year too.
You do?
Yes,
Yeah.
I've got a teammate that I never actually met.
Oh, really?
I never did. I learned it from Dave at the end of last season that they were actually looking for and testing with him because I was still technically signed for this year as well. It was a 2-year deal, but we didn't want to announce it too quick. Make it sure we did our stuff properly. But he asked us the permission to have another car in there, and I mean, of course, it's his race team, so I mean, why not? But just I wanted to make sure that I had a teammate that was actually comprehensive and everything. A good teammate because I had a really good teammate with Alex Gannett, which was one of my friends before I went in Pinty's as well. But I feel like we had a great relationship, and I wanted to kind of reproduce that. And of course, having Thomas, of course, he's a lot younger than me, but has a lot more road course experience than I do. He's been around the States and Formula 2000 karting. I think he went to Dubai, the World Championship and stuff. So really good road race driver.
Absolutely.
I heard he has a good racecraft as well. So I think working together is going to be really good, and maybe trying to bring my insight on oval and how I can help him, and maybe get his feedback on road course as well. I feel like we can be a really good duo there.
Well, to your point too, as you say, where you have someone that is skilled in something where you guys can work and collaborate and bounce things off each other, not literally, but like spitball and bounce ideas off each other, but help elevate the program and both your racecraft also, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's just a big tool. I still didn't speak with him yet. I'll be honest. I tried reaching out, but I think they were testing Porsches and everything, so they were kind of busy. I just want to make sure we start the season the right way. Try really to go and race as a team and not because we've seen a lot of teammates in the past and not actually race like teammates.
Yeah, not just two cars that run out of the same shop or whatever, but truly embrace the
try to
teammate
put
atmosphere.
all the chances on our side, because
right.
Of course, Pinty's is a race series where everyone kind of bounces off each other literally, but still you kind of
you're gonna have that, yeah.
That's another thing, and try to work together, as race strategy and stuff to make sure that we're always the best we can be. And I mean, he has, I think. And I didn't see any other too big of rookie contenders in there. I think he's a bit more lucky than I was, but we'll see about that.
Well, it's another Mustang too. I mean, that's
the Ford representation.
That's the best thing, is that you guys are the representation for Ford in Canada, for Shelby Canada, and for the Mustang body. And hopefully what that will encourage is more people to go with the Mustang body, and we can have the Challengers, the Camaros, and the Mustangs. I think it was kind of sad seeing only you guys out there with the Mustang last year, but we can't deny on how good of a car it is. And to be hooked up with a guy like Dave Jacobs, that's got to be cool, because that's the championship winning team for Andrew Ranger that you drive for. And we're talking about how you looked up to him, and now you're driving for the exact same team that he drove for.
Yeah, of course. Dave's the guy that's won a lot of races in the Pinty series, who really knows what he does with the race cars. We had a hard time, pretty much all of the team understanding my needs, and even myself understanding what I wanted from these cars, because they're so much different than what I ever drove. So really, for me to actually know what I wanted in a race car for a long run was kind of challenging when you're used to running late model and just burying it in there and live for the last second and everything, which is total opposite in the Pinty's car. So we worked together a lot during the season, but Dave also has a good of driving insight, because he's been in the driver's seat for a long time. But I also knows the racetracks that we go to and the race cars really well. So I feel like we had a good relationship last year, and we'll be even stronger this year. And I know the cars are well prepared. We just want to make sure we put every piece of the puzzle together and try to go out there and win races.
That's awesome. I would like to circle back to what you're talking about, the business side of it, where it's not unique to you, but not everyone in the series is in the driver's seat and in the business chairs. You say you work with your dad and Prolon and whatnot. So when you're putting your season together, you can kind of put yourself in the helmet and behind the desk in terms of budgetary things. Can you just kind of speak to wearing both hats a little bit?
Yeah, honestly, it's a big challenge.
It would be.
I just graduated school in April last year. I'm now a mechanical engineer. So
Awesome.
I did all my school stuff at the same time that I started racing. It was really hard, even back in the speed weeks there 2 last year that we went. I was having exams.
You gotta want it, man.
Yeah, and I remember I had to do exams in the morning, sometimes on Zoom in the RV, and then get to the racetrack for practice and stuff like this. So it was a unique path to get into racing this way. But as my dad always say, my dad is my best partner in racing, and he's been with me since I started, and he always encourages me, and he's always has my back everywhere we go. When we work on our late model, he actually works with me on the car because we don't rent for our team. We do our own stuff at late model, and me and my dad are both
Awesome.
at the racetracks. And even though we have like a fairly decent sized company, we go down there, and sometimes we're just two of us at the racetracks, and everyone down there with all these big rigs. And we have quite a big rig, but we were still only two guys like in our late model. So I mean, me and my dad work together during the week, of course, and you know. I'm a technical sales representative for Prolon for Canada. So I just got into this role at the end of the summer, but the goal is to try and cover my area at the same time as I go into racing season. Because just last year when we went out west, we were working for the whole week, and even the Wednesday after Saskatoon, I was in the truck getting down Regina because I had to meet customers the morning after at 7 a.m. So,
Nice.
we're trying to put everything together because I feel like at this level of a series, I'm not the only one, but I think we're only a few that actually have really full-time jobs and are also full-time driver. So it's really time consuming. I don't really take vacations except for racing, but it makes for an interesting life for sure. It's not boring.
No, I would think not. And you had mentioned something that was really cool earlier, and I'm very curious to see. You mentioned you're a triplet, and that you have two sisters. When's the race going to happen between the three of you guys?
Well, my sisters don't actually race. Well,
we got to set one up and see how the order goes, right?
Actually, they're really good drivers in the street. My dad
better than you.
He's like, oh, I want also a girl to race, and they kind of both denied that. I mean, one works in marketing, and the other one is still in school studying in psychology. So they're different paths than I am for sure. I'm the heating, ventilation market and racing. Another one is marketing, and the other in psychology. So we're all in three different areas of the world. But I can tell you I'll probably win that race. I don't want to brag, but I would probably win that race. Unless they wreck me on the first lap or something. Because if they learn from me, they might know how to wreck me. So.
Well, this is we're gonna wrap it up soon, but I don't think we can go any longer without talking about the man, the myth, the legend, the fireball of energy himself, Martin. We've been lucky to interact and see his stuff, and he's what we need in Ontario. We need a guy that, and what we're trying to do as well is be that guy that tries to bring as much attention and interest into motorsports as possible. And
hype.
How do you keep up with that energy?
Oh man. It's really hard. At first I was kind of overwhelmed when I met him, and I used to only see him on his show and stuff, and even then, like back then, his show was on RDS in Quebec, so I would watch it, and I was like, who's this guy? And still watch the show like on Tuesday nights and stuff. And I was not racing back then, and then. Fast forward, I was with him. He was kind of acting as my agent and getting relationship. But he's always a guy that pushes really hard to get a relationship. He never takes no for an answer. But I don't know if you try, but he won't. He's the type of guy that you really want on your side. He's a door opener. He really builds a great relationship with all of the sponsors in his group, and he keeps them. That's really important. I feel like the level we are today, a lot of sponsors come in and out, and it's really hard to actually keep them. But he does great things business-wise with them to make sure that they get back the money they actually put in, good placement. So he's been working with them a lot. And I mean, any of you guys that are listening to that, of course, I know you don't sell sponsorship on a podcast or on people like I see on Facebook. Oh, I'm looking for sponsors. We all know that doesn't work. But we have a lot of marketing opportunities that are actually different than all of the other companies. We're really trying to make your money that you put in the sport worth something and not just a banner and a race car, because we know that's not exactly how real money comes back. But
yes.
Come back to Martin, really good guy. You guys are on the really good way of doing something. I would say you're already doing something really great. For Ontario, I compare you guys to the Pesty Drag, but of Ontario, except that you're not associated with a single race team, associated with everyone. I'm calling out the series out loud right now, but we need you guys to be like associated with Pinty's, like the real Facebook page, because I mean we see stuff coming from you guys that's a lot better content. I know that they're not working full time for it, so I don't want to call out all these guys that are working in the Facebook page. I know they're trying their best to do stuff, but it's just the way it's all built. They don't have time to actually post a lot. But I feel like you guys have really great content. I would wish you guys would be actually promoting the series. Well, you are, but on your own stuff, and actually having NASCAR give you a real voice. Not to get further with this, so that
make old Graydon cry over there.
Yeah, I just wish that NASCAR would stop looking at us as a development series or the international series, because I mean we're one of the big guys. I don't want to hit on Brazil or Mexico, but their stuff is so much different than what we actually do here.
Yes,
I feel like we relate like almost exactly with the US series. We're just not being taken care of, and they don't even talk about us anywhere. Or even when you go on NASCAR website, we're not there. We're just like one of the local series, and it's like we're having guys that did not make it. It's like they see it this way instead of having our own Cup series in Canada, which actually is. But
yes,
yeah.
Like everything we've been saying, isn't it, Graydon?
Yeah, I'm glad that you, like I said, you wear the hat of the competitor and the name on the hood or on the quarter panel. I mean, that opinion, like those words carry weight, man. You wear those hats, and as you say, it's not just like you're out there on social media with your hand out asking for money. You guys really understand what it takes to, in terms of like from the marketing aspect, and really providing these companies that want to, or that take a chance, even if you will, in investing in a race team, that they get some sort of return on what they give you guys. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we do our best. I mean, it's really hard. I won't lie, especially now that we're getting into kind of a economical drop down. So it's really hard to get people involved, but somehow Martin always does miracles. So that's why we're back for a full-time season. But I feel like we're all saying this. I know Tagliani is a big advocate of this stuff as well. He's been crying out loud. Well, not crying, but I mean, just really voicing his opinion hardly in meetings and stuff. I mean, and I heard he's been doing this for years. I didn't know because I wasn't involved before, but somehow like it never moves. I mean, I'm straightly calling out NASCAR right now, and I'm in US or Canada. I really don't mind, but I mean, I feel like everyone has the same opinion. They all come down. They make us all these great meetings. It's gonna move, and then we get new people in here and there, and of course, no one really has the money to stay there as a full-time job, but. I mean, everyone's working hard in Canada. We're missing a lot of people to actually complete and have a proper team that takes care of the Pinty series. Everyone has a lot on their plate, probably too much. That's why we can't really get more from Canada, but we don't get help from down south. It's like everything has to go in Daytona to be a decision, but it don't help us on the other side. So at one point, what do? We they only want the benefit, and they don't help us. So I really hope NASCAR USA wakes up. And, if they bring the Cup Series in Montreal, like they said they would, even like no one wants to say it's official, but we all know that they might come to Montreal next year, trying to get a big show. We're all hoping that's great for sponsors. Again, just being there and having dinner with sponsors in the old port of Montreal and stuff like that is just an amazing experience that you don't get anywhere else. So I just hope NASCAR finally owns up to their words, because they're really not doing it. We had meetings in Three Rivers this year. We had vice president of NASCAR coming down, and we get out of these meetings and all the racing owners and drivers are like, yeah, finally gonna do something, and nothing happens. Everyone talks, but nothing happens. So I don't have a game plan myself. So even if I'm still there and jamming my ideas in the podcast, I don't have a game plan myself. But I feel like people really got to think about it and stop just running the series the way it is and trying to make it a big swing.
I think all our hope is with Tony and this team that's kind of formed. It's in its infancy, but where Canada is going to hopefully stand on its own two, like NASCAR Canada, I mean, and hopefully with this team that's in place can hopefully convey that message to head office down in the States. That mentality, just as you said, JP, where it's the Cup Series of Canada. Yes, we don't have the population density, but I mean, person for person, the passion and the heart of the race fans and the competitors is every bit as fierce as the States.
Exactly. And I think Tony believes in that. That's why he actually took the role. So,
Absolutely.
It's great to have him on board. Actually, he just needs a lot of more help. He has a great team already, but he needs help from down south to make it happen. I know he's voicing a lot his opinion, and he wants it as bad as we want it, because he's been around the series for so much with the Pinty side, even as in the series side. So I feel like it's a great asset to have. But he'll need people down south to actually wake up.
Absolutely, it's a two-way street.
It really is, but it's nice to have a driver that's coming on and has the same kind of opinions as we do. JP,
awesome.
We absolutely love seeing people come into this series. We love people coming in, and they're just so the right fit. And it feels like you're a perfect fit for this series. I will say that we're big fans. We want to give you an opportunity to thank all the sponsors on your race car that'll help you get to the racetrack each and every week. This is your moment to say thank you before we wrap up.
Well, of course, we have a lot of people that are on board this year, as we have confirmed. Of course, Prolon, we're back. CTSR is back again. I mean, he's been around since I started racing. My friend, he's another Martin. But Martin Perrault, he's with us again this year's with CTSR, and probably a bit of a GC Perrault appliances store on there. We have, of course, Russo Metal that are back again as one of our main sponsors, doing great toolbox, a lot better than Snap-on. I'm telling you guys, if you're looking for commercial stuff, they do a lot of deals, a bit of like fleet deal style for car dealership and stuff like that. Of course, we have Shelby Canada that are back with us. They're just great guys. They have the same passion that we have about racing cars. And I mean, we tried their Mustangs and their Shelbys last year after the race season, and they're just as passionate as we are. So it's great to have these guys on board again. Of course, the whole Festi Drag group, we have a lot. Honestly, that's shame on me. I don't know all of them on top of my head, but we have Permadex. I mean, we have Hypertech, the oils. They give us all the oils for the season. We have VP Racing Fuel Dealership, Francois Lamarche, that give us all the racing fuel for the season as well. So so much great people in this race car, and without them, we can't make it happen. But that's why we're back for a full season, because all these guys believe in me, believe in the race team. So we'll go out there and do a lot better than what we did last year. That I'm convinced. We want to fight for wins and be in the top 5 at the end of the championship.
And we saw it. I've called it on socials that if you busted out a win, I wouldn't be surprised this year, man. Yeah. So it just didn't always go your way, but man, you could tell that you were holding your own out there with all these guys that you were talking about, that you were in awe of racing with. But it wouldn't surprise me to see if you squeaked a win out or two even this year. Merci beaucoup pour votre temps, JP.
Merci à vous. Merci à tout le monde qui nous écoute aussi avec le français. Thank you, guys. Thanks to all my English, French friends as well, and English, French friends, everyone that are actually watching your podcast. You guys do a really great job. It's awesome to have you guys in the series. And as Sherry would call you out in the meetings last year a few times, thanks for everything you do for the series, because without you, the series wouldn't be the same. So we'll see you guys at the racetrack.
Oh, we're so excited. We'll see JP Bergeron May 13th, opening weekend for the NASCAR Pinty Series at Sunset Speedway.